This is Chapter 2, Discussion Number 2, The Market Economy and Its Goals. As we discuss the market economy, one of the people that we have to take a look at is a guy by the name of Adam Smith, who wrote a book in 1776 with a little bit of help from Ben Franklin. It's called An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations. Most people just say Adam Smith wrote the book called Wealth of Nations. What Adam Smith said was that while the mercantile system, which was currently the rage in Europe, was a decent idea, however, it wasn't the best idea available and not why economies worked. He said that economies would work because people would work for their own self-interest in order to provide for them and their families. And in the process of providing for their families, they would be producing things that the economy needed. Not necessarily because they studied everything and they figured this is the best thing that everyone needed around them. It was more saying that they would produce things for their own self-interest. And because this was not a largely planned idea like mercantilism, Adam Smith said that it was the invisible hand of this self-interest that would bring to the society the things that the society needed. And that was how society provided for itself. That there was no specific need for an overall planning. So this is what we see from the market system. Now, what a lot of people came up with and developed from Adam Smith's idea was the idea of laissez-faire system, where the government doesn't interfere with the economic decisions of its citizens. This was primarily a lot of what America started out as in the late 1700s and through the 1800s, where the government pretty much stayed out of everyone's business. However, as we evolved into an industrial society, we have found that the government has gotten a lot more involved in making decisions of what people can and cannot produce and how they are allowed to produce it or how they are not allowed to produce it, with significant increase in industry regulation, and essentially is using the government power to prevent extensive damages to other groups. So when we take a look at an economy, especially in our American economy, what do we see that people really say that this is what makes America work, or this is what makes our economy work? Well, we have the freedom of enterprise. Individuals are free to own and control their own factors of production. It is not completely within the control of the government, and then the government lets you use it. People own it for themselves. We also have the freedom of choice. Buyers are allowed to make decisions about what they are going to buy. Producers are allowed to make decisions of what's going to be produced. Essentially, buyers can help make that decision because someone might want to say, I want to make this item. So they go and make the item and then they put it on the shelves and then no one buys it. The buyers are telling the producers, we don't need this. And so buyers help make that decision of what is to be produced and what is not to be produced. So, but we have a choice of what we're going to buy, and the producers have a choice of what they're going to produce. Another important idea within our economy is the idea of competition. If something is going to be produced and that people are going to buy it, other people will say, hey, we can make a living doing that too. We want to make that as well. So now you've got 2, 3, 10, 50 different people making a similar product. Then, when we put them out on the shelf, people are going to be looking at them and saying, I want to buy this one, but it's too expensive. Or I want to buy this one, but it looks like it's going to fall apart. Or I want to buy this one, but this person who has found out that he was a dirty, rotten scoundrel, and I don't want to support that. And so with competition, we have people that are going to be striving for quality, they're going to be striving for quantity, they're going to be striving for inexpensiveness and uniqueness because they want to sell their item so that they can make the living, and other people are also going to be competing so that we have prices being driven down, we have quality being driven up, we have a lot more items being produced, and we have things that people are trying to do in order to make their particular item unique. Another extremely important idea in the American economy is the idea of private property. You own it, it's yours to do with it as you see fit, and that you can dispose of it however you want, whether it be how you're getting raw materials from the land or how you're going to use your money. Another part that kind of puts this all together is the idea of profit incentive. That if you produce something, you have the opportunity to make money for yourself and your family. That you're not going to have to give everything to the government. That you're not going to have to give everything back to the local chieftain. And so the idea of profit incentive encourages people to take risks. It encourages people to make new items and innovate because they want to make a profit, because they want to provide for their families as well. So they get the profit, the money that's left over after they've paid for their labor, they've paid for the stuff, the land, the natural resources, they paid taxes to the government for helping protect their private property, and the profit incentive is a big idea in the American economy that has people producing and innovating and taking risks in order to produce a very productive economy. This is the end of Chapter 2, discussion number 2, the market economy and its goals.